Oh, fuck my hair.
Oh.
I just look like a homeless woman today.
Welcome back to Open Water, everybody.
I'm just like,
it's another beautiful.
I'm just here for the ride.
Okay, well, it's another beautiful Friday. Welcome. Hope everybody's week was good.
Shut see my face. Up. I was like,
hope everybody's week was good.
It's the weekend.
Yeah.
Is it?
Even though you only get 2 days, that's crazy that you only get 2 days off.
You can thank the capitalists for that.
Well, you know, I don't really work, so like every day is a weekend for me.
Well, come a month from now, apparently the unemployment isn't going to go on for much longer.
They just added it to the new bill, though. Just added an extra 400.
I don't know. They were saying something in April. They were going to stop allowing it to be like extensions or something. I need to read into this.
Oh, well, I found out earlier this week that I was not born at 12:44 a.m. I was born at 12:44 p.m.
So your birth chart's completely different?
No, just my rising is different.
Okay, I was going to say, well, something should be different in there. I couldn't remember if it was the moon or the rising because I know it's very specific to time.
So my moon is still the same, but I am not a Virgo rising. I'm an Aquarius rising. So now I have to unlearn everything that I learned for...
No, not even unlearn.
Well, I'm not a Virgo rising. There's no Virgo in my chart.
See, I mean, that's why everyone always goes into... See, astrology is just fake.
Was this your big announcement?
Yes, that was my big announcement. But like I was so distraught because I don't know what the fuck prompted me to look at my birth certificate because my mom told me I was born at 12:44 a.m. So my entire life, that's what I've been telling everybody. And then something was like, because I saw Jessica's birth certificate and I was like, let me see mine. And I saw it and I took a picture and I was like, you told me I was born at 12:44, and I circled the time and I was like, what is this? And my mom was like, I made a mistake. I'm sorry. And she was just so nonchalant about it. And like, I literally cried because like, I felt like,
what is life?
No, like for real. Y'all know I'm
Aquarius rising? What?
Y'all know that I already have like, you know, I question like my racial identity and now I have to question my astrology identity. So like I was all types of fucked up. And Jess was like, why are you crying? And I was like, I don't know. But I felt like I'm sorry for lying to you all.
How is that lying?
I'm sorry to lying. I'm sorry. I'm a liar, everybody.
I'm not a liar.
It's simply a mistake.
And I mean, astrology is what you make
exactly.
of it.
I was gonna say, regardless of your identity, as long as you're not saying you're transracial or any of that dumbass shit, I think you can identify.
But
how I personally identify is completely different from how most of the world would see me. But
I don't fucking know. Like it is. I don't know. I'm just here, trying to live my best life as best as possible, without having multiple breakdowns.
Woo, child!
You know,
multiple breakdowns.
When you said I have some big news, I was like,
that was my big news. Also, my fur baby turned 2 on Tuesday. That's my news. I was born 12 hours after I've been telling everybody. Sorry.
Oh my gosh. I guess I can understand that. If I found out I wasn't born at 2:32 a.m. and I was born at like 4:38 p.m., that would probably be like, whoa, everything I've studied doesn't like. Because most people, when you read astrology, you automatically go to, oh my God, yeah, that is me. Yeah, that is me. Even though there are some things I read that I'm like, I don't identify with this. Like, what's
that was me. And I was like, none of this makes sense for real, but like, okay. And like, so now I have to read up on it.
That's why I do want to go to a reading really bad. Because I would love to see if they can like actually read me. And like, you know how birth chart is, whoever their astrologer is, that's how they explain it, however they're teaching, how they learn. So I would love to like actually hear from an actual astrologer.
Shit, I'm glad I didn't get my birth chart tatted on me at the wrong time.
Oh yeah, I mean I have mine tatted on me.
No, that would be hilarious. Her birth chart would be wrong though if you got it.
That would suck.
Would have been.
I mean, I checked my birth certificate before. Because, I mean, I have mine, and you have received some.
Well, like, I had mine, but I never felt the need to, like, check it because my mom told me where I was born, what time I was born, who my father was. So, like, all of that would have been on there. But the fact that the time that she told me was wrong, like throws me off. And I'm like, what? And I'm like, was it dark or was it light outside? She's like, I don't know. The room didn't have windows. And I'm like, what kind of bootleg hospital was I born in? And she's like, a very nice one, actually. I'm like, all right.
Then why didn't it have a window?
Well, so I asked
I'm trying to remember. I don't think Tamika's hospital.
I asked Jessica's mom, and she said that her room didn't have like her birthing room didn't have a window.
That's so
my
rude.
friend
at GW didn't.
My friends did. The one birth that I did witness, her room had a window.
I don't think I ever want to see anyone give birth.
Did you see that picture? It's on Instagram. The guy is like looking down at the baby being born. It's hilarious.
It's like it's not a sight that I ever want anyone to see, and I never want to witness it again. But like, I can say that I saw a baby born.
Did they traumatize y'all too, 9th grade year, and they showed
No.
the video? Oh,
No,
they showed us a video of a baby being born, and I just remember being like,
I saw a bunch of STD'd vaginas and penises.
I saw that
too. A whole bunch of pictures. Just pass around the classroom. Look at this.
But no, I'm still trying to figure out why people are like, the miracle of birth is so beautiful. That was not.
That's what my friend said. Honestly, birth is so beautiful. I mean, I can get it. I guess, but for me personally,
people with home
I
births,
see it from a different perspective, and I'm like, ew. Like, people be posting their baby. I don't think you should post your baby till a couple months after it's born, because all babies look like aliens.
That's what I said, and everybody told me that I was fucked up.
No, all babies straight up look like aliens.
I mean, there are some cute ass babies.
There are but most are like.
They look,
I think I was.
You gotta give them time. My picture was probably like a week after I was born or something. So I looked like a newborn, but I wasn't that like.
They look gray and wrinkly.
That's what I mean. I wasn't like, super wrinkly or anything like that.
Like
I was just like,
it's disgusting. Like,
I mean, we are aliens. In our reality, we're growing a human inside of our body. That is fucking crazy to me. That women
that does not sound like fun.
No one said it was fun. Most women, it's not fun.
I know a few women who thoroughly enjoy being pregnant and giving birth, and I will never understand that.
Like, a lot of home births that I've watched, and a lot of women that I follow online who have had home births are like, that moment of that last contraction, that last push to get your baby out, and then just like, a lot of them say you don't even remember the pain. Because then you look at this thing that you just pushed out and grew in your body, and you're like, holy fucking shit.
I'll remember
I did that.
I want no parts in that.
I think I want to have a baby.
She's like, no, thank you.
I want no parts in that. I don't want to carry a child, birth a child, raise a child. I don't want to do none of that. I want no parts in children.
I've changed over the years. Woo, I am. I
have not.
Yeah, our quesadilla tacos every Tuesday.
Sounds so fun.
Delicious.
But yeah, no, I honestly think I want a kid. I think I want 3 in all reality. I think 3 is like the perfect number. That's hilarious
because you went from like not that long ago to be like, I don't want kids. But like, honestly, I don't know.
No, thank you. I will pass on that one. I'm gonna pass it on.
I want to just see what my like genes are gonna look like on somebody.
Yeah, the only thing I would think about is like passing on my keeping the bloodline alive. That's the only thing I can think of. But
y'all can look at my brothers. They can pass that shit on.
Because the thing, me and my brother have different dads, so we don't have the exact bloodline. So I don't think we look alike in our reality. He looks like my mom, and I look like my dad. So we look nothing alike. And so I would love to have a family with, one person, have our same kids, and like, damn, that's me. That's little me. Half a little me. What up, what up? A little
So you want to be pregnant?
Yeah. I think I would thrive being pregnant because everything I read about MS is that women thrive because of the stem cells. You thrive being pregnant. So I'm like, woo! I would love to be pregnant and have no symptoms. Like, hey, what up, y'all? I'm gonna drop it low. I can walk and not fall and have balance. Oh, yeah. Fuck yeah. But yeah. Let's make a topic because I want to talk and get this shit through.
I was going to say, take a nap.
I do want to take a nap. I'm not going to lie to you.
All right.
I'm going to try to keep it lively, though.
Our topic is past life reincarnation.
Oh.
I want to pass out on my life right now.
Do y'all believe in reincarnation?
Yeah.
I do.
100%.
Yes.
Yeah. 1000%
So how did you come to that belief?
I mean, I grew up as a Christian. I went to church. My person who created me is a pastor. So I grew up in a Baptist, Southern, whatever, cool. But then in high school, I took religion of something like that. One of those, something with world religion. And learned about Buddhism. And that's how I found about reincarnation.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, wow, this makes sense. Because I always had visions, I felt like, of other things happening. And I just always have felt a tie to, like, the 60s. I don't know why. Like, I've always been into civil rights and, like, all that type of shit. So I'm always like, here's my past life. I was a fucking civil rights activist, part of the Black Panthers, probably. Like, yeah, what up, y'all? You know?
How about you?
I believe in reincarnation because I don't believe, because energy can't be destroyed. It can only be, like, passed on. So, like, when I die, I don't think that the energy that my body possesses is going to, like, disappear. It's going to go into something else. Okay. Kind of how, like, people think when you die, your soul moves into a different body, which I also believe in that too.
So do you think, well, I'm going to let you go first, then I'm ask the question.
What, do I believe in reincarnation? Yeah. So the whole reason I believe in it, like the first time I realized that I was going to die and that my mom was going to die, that we were all going to die one day, like I lost my shit and started bawling my eyes out. And the way that my mom explained to me to not be afraid of death, and I started thinking about heaven too. I started thinking about heaven, and I told you eternity gives me anxiety, and I was just thinking about living in the sky forever, and I'm like, that just doesn't, I don't know, something about that just gave me anxiety. So I was like crying. My mom's like, don't worry, we're going to see each other again. Like in the next life, I'll see. Well, I was like, what? And she told me that we'd be reincarnated again. I was like 5 or 6, no, 6, because we had moved from Philly. I was 6, and I was like, okay. So for like the next few years, I believed I was going to be reincarnated until I went to a Baptist church, and they're like, you're going to hell. And I was like, very traumatizing. My religious experience was very traumatizing for me. And yeah, so it took me a while to like move away from that, even though I never really believed it. It was just more, I don't know. I get very afraid.
I've never been religious. Well, I guess I grew up, but I always questioned it always.
Same,
I would always be like, wait, there's someone up there? Like, hold on. There's heaven? Like, those clouds? Like, people, what? Like,
How did the realm? Well, I don't want to skip too far ahead because we're going to talk about this. Like, we're going to talk about dimensions. I'm talking about dimensions. Like, do you think heaven and hell could exist as simply a different dimension? Like, you've seen the videos where it's like people have been outside the gates of hell or whatever, like the screaming and shit. Like, do you think hell, heaven, and type things, are they real? Like, what are they?
So when I went to church, the pastor would always say that hell is like this fiery place where all you know is pain, and like you're pretty much just tortured the entire time. And then when they talk about heaven, it's like, oh, you can do whatever you want, like it's so great, blah blah blah. But
that's pretty much how like Supernatural shows heaven and hell, I feel like.
I mean, The Good Place.
I did watch that.
Yeah, that was a good take on heaven and hell.
I actually really enjoyed the show, and I cried at the end.
So did I.
What's The Good Place?
It was on.
It's on
NBC,
Netflix.
but it's on Netflix now. But I think it was NBC. I'm not positive, but it was a good show. It's with what's that white bitch name?
Dax
Shepard's wife.
Something Bell.
Oh.
She was Veronica Mars.
Yeah.
Her.
Kristen Bell.
Yeah, she's in it. And that Dan guy, Tom, Richard. I think it was Richard.
Who, the white guy?
Yeah, the white guy, the tall white guy. Tim.
I don't know.
Some white
I don't know his name.
Okay, so heaven and hell. Those are obviously, they're religious. You know, it comes from a religion. And I feel like a lot of the religions in this world, they have some concept of a heaven or hell. And I think we all share this idea that religion's kind of like a concept that was created to control, make you, it's just a way to control people on a mass scale. That's literally all religion is. And I can see the benefits of religion, but then you have the fanaticism, and the fanaticism is where you run into a lot of issues because the fanaticism leads to you persecuting groups of people usually, and like this holiness, sanctimonious, righteousness bullshit, where it becomes less of a religion and you just feel like you're better than other people. And I see the same thing though, even in the people who aren't specifically religious, just in the spiritual sense, they think that like they're better than you, like they know more, that type of shit. Like I can see it just in the post, like all over, like no matter what your political beliefs, whatever. Like I was talking about this with someone yesterday. Like you can look at Instagram and see the different like biases in the way that people see themselves and then see other people and relate to other people. And it's like any opposing ideas, that's the wrong idea, you're just sheeple, blah blah blah. And I'm like, no, if it's I don't think anyone has, like, even if we're reincarnation, religion, any of that shit, it's a truth, it's not the truth. That's the thing, there are many freaking truths. Everyone has their own truth as well.
Yes.
So for people to be like, you're a sheeple, blah, 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 I'm like, I think that term gets thrown around way too much. Like rhetoric, people, I think the entire world needs to have a lesson in rhetoric and understand the power behind words and shit like that. Because I keep seeing this shit about like censorship ever since the whole Trump shit. I to this day, today I saw something about censorship, and I'm like, I need people to look up the concept and actually understand what censorship is. Like,
no bullshit.
I understand like history has been like, you know, very controlled and everything like that, but there comes a point where you got to go out on your own and learn this shit. Like the shit's out there.
People are lazy and they don't want to do their own research,
or they only do the research that adheres to their already established worldview. I'm like, that's not how you evolve. You can't stay stuck in what you believe. You got to be open to the shit. And like,
I mean, but that's also the scary part about the internet, is that you can research anything if there's someone who's going to agree with you, and you'd be like, okay, I'm right. And
that's how the whole thing with global warming. One scientist said that it wasn't fake. One scientist said that it wasn't real. Like one or two. It wasn't a whole lot of scientists. It was like one or two. It wasn't a whole lot. And the media, the way it was, shown to everyone else, it was like, this is something that's debatable, when no, it's not debatable. It's established. It's a thing. But motherfuckers want to debate it, debate the reality, stick their heads in the dirt. And I feel like it's just very frustrating.
Well, there's also a lot of misinformation out there, and a lot of it sounds real, and people go with it.
Once again, that's just like, I feel like that's the whole thing with religion. Like, I don't think religion's even just in like the Christian, Jewish, Muslim, like it's not even in that sense. Like I said, spiritual, it's like, well, it's your life creed or whatever. And sometimes,
growing up in a Christian household, like I believe my family has finally kind of grown out of that churchy, we're good people because we go to church. I think they now understand that we have flaws and our family isn't perfect, and some family members do certain things differently, and that's okay. I mean, I think my family is now finally understanding that us generation, like my cousins and us, where we do things a totally different way. And at first it really used to be like, y'all need to find a church, y'all need to do this, and we're just like, no.
I was thinking about it today, like with my dad's side, they're all Jewish for like generations, for like a long ass motherfucking time. They've all been Jewish. And then by the time it was like my dad, they like the entire family previous, they had Jewish sounding like names. And then first they changed their last name. Then, the last name was different, but they still had a Jewish first name. Then the next generation, it was just a regular Anglo sounding name. It was like they completely shed that identity, and it was like the religion wasn't really an aspect in their life anymore. So it's like, I don't know, interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting ways.
But it's just the whole thing that when it comes to like dying, I think for me, as like to bring it a little bit back, is that, like, is it earlier you were talking about people's like souls? Do you believe it can only go into another person, or it can go into like an alligator? You become an alligator, or is it once you're a human, this soul is always going to be a human?
It's not just human. It's any living creature.
Yeah,
like you can be a shit person and come back as a fucking ant.
You gotta think
and that was your karma. That's your reincarnation. You gotta work with what you got in that lifetime to try to be a better person. And if you're not, then you're going to come back as I guess like food chain wise, like something low.
But then how do you get out of that?
I don't think
you have to be a better person in the life that you have.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think that there has to be, that's an established scale.
Well, I've never been an animal, so I couldn't tell you.
Well, that's why I'm saying, like, I think once you're, whatever is spirit, if you're starting off, that's what it's always going to be. Mm-hmm. I don't think, in my honest opinion, that you can come back as an ant, because then how do you go from an ant back to a human? You don't
know. So according to Buddhism, like depending on your karma and dharma, it's like a whole bunch of different factors, and like your evolution to reach nirvana, and that's like the final stage. But that's like to me again, that's just it's another religion. It's another religion. That's why, like, while I do believe in reincarnation, it's not exactly the same. Like if you watch the show The OA, it's like people are getting reincarnated, but they're not being reincarnated at the exact same time. Like they might manifest one lifetime and then not, be born on Earth for another 100 years or something like that. And you also have to think about the concept: are we the only planet with a living conscious species like the way that we are? And I don't think that's true either. And you got to factor that into the soul. So like, how many souls exist, period. And
that goes into your whole thing about dimensions. Like, is that another thing? Like, are those other planets other dimensions?
Other dimensions? Are we born only in the same dimension? Can we
cross parallel universes?
Yeah, like is it all connected? How is it all connected?
My answer is yes.
Because I don't think when you get reincarnated, I don't think it's based off, I don't know if it's based off exactly of your good deeds. So much, it could be based off of something like how you're born, the situation that you're born in. But
I mean, goes like with your show The OA. With The Good Place, it shows that it's like it showed how the system was rigged, how there's so much in the world now to where you can't be a perfect person in this world the way it is now. Yeah. There's no way that you can recycle, you can give back, you can,
but these are also like social ideas too. Like,
and
these are human concepts.
Yes, those are human concept things that were created. That's why you just have to live your life as best as you know how.
Just be a good person. Just to be a decent human being. That regardless of any payoff in the afterlife, can you live your life as a good, decent human being to create a good world?
You would like The Good Place. That's literally what The Good Place concept is. Yeah. You would really like the show.
I've watched the show like twice already.
It's a good show.
But to be completely honest, like I've thought about this on my own, just like sitting within my own thoughts, and I've gotten deep into it, and there's so many answers that are left unanswered, or so many questions that are left unanswered that like I will drive myself crazy looking for these answers. And I don't think that I will ever find the answers.
You won't.
Well, that's the other thing. Like, are our brains even capable of handling that kind of information? Like, because I was reading this book about, like, it was basically told from the perspective of an alien, even though, as I read it, you could clearly tell this was the perspective of a white male. He was like, I can tell certain things. Like, I can see into the future because I can see through different dimensions, and you can't. Your mind simply can't process what my mind can process. Like, I think there's different levels of consciousness, like within like the alien species and us, like whatever smart, whatever, I don't know the word that I'm fucking looking for, but intelligent life in the universe that exists. Like, I forgot where I was going with this even. What the fuck were we just talking about? No one knows?
Aliens and dimensions and how our brain.
Oh yeah, your brain. Like we're all on different levels of being able to process that information.
Yeah, because Nasty was saying how like not knowing that like she has all these questions, but you'll never get the answers.
Not in this life, at least. You can't say that you'll never get the answers, because you have the potential to be born on another world. Like the show The OA.
No.
Huh?
Like when you're alive, you won't know the answers. You won't know.
When you're alive in this life, you won't know the answers.
So but that's saying the thing. In another life, you can know the answer.
You could potentially not find out like I said, there is not a singular truth. There is only multiple truths. You can find out a lot, but I don't think there's ever one finite truth, because the universe isn't finite itself.
To what the end is.
Yeah, it's impossible, because that's how the universe is. Like, there's gonna be one way I heard about like our existence is the universe is experiencing itself in different ways, different possibilities, all at the same time.
It's kind of like with comic books. You know how they have like multi-universes and like they have multiverses, like, and they can sometimes come together or they'll overlap.
That's
or
what
they'll
I'm saying.
intertwine.
Like, how do you think like dimensions exist? Like, I feel like they overlap over one another. Like, I think it like frequencies, wavelengths, like. We can't see certain things, but other species, animals on the earth is able to. Like,
you're right.
Like, I feel like certain animals can sense ghosts or spirits.
Yes.
While most of us in this world can't.
100% agree with you.
Oh, 100. There's a ghost that lives in this house, and the dogs bark at the ghost all the time.
Because to me, whenever an animal stops and stares at something,
you ever heard that children can also see ghosts?
Yeah, I heard about that too. And that, because remember,
well, that's because I think. Oh, sorry.
No, I'm just like, kids will be like, oh, my imaginary friend like plays with me all the time, and then they'll describe them like to a T.
I told you that girl that I babysat was talking about something she saw in the corner of the room, and she just kept staring at it. I'm like, Lydia, just go to sleep. Like, I got so freaked out. Like, I feel like kids can sense that shit, and it's fear mainly that makes them, because like I feel like as children, our intuition is strong. We're like really tapped into the spiritual. The energy, we're really tapped into that shit, and it's as we go on through life, we experience certain things, our intuition gets blocked by, mainly it's fear for a number of different reasons though. And it's just, as an adult, like I think everyone has some capability, some kind of power, but it's just how much of that can we actually tap into.
I mean, my power is, I think all of us, is deja vu. I feel like I see so many scenarios in my life, and then either dreaming or for some reason I'll just be like, whoa, this feels so familiar, and I'll call like what's about to happen next. I'll be like, yo, someone's about to call me. And then my phone will ring.
Yo, that's like Danielle, crazy. Like my roommate, I remember one time she was at my house, she was laying there, she leaned back and she's like, the cat's about to jump up and attack my head. And like a minute later, Fat One jumped up and he's like, starts beating the crap out of her hair. And I'm like, yo, what the fuck? Yeah. But she'll say shit like that. And I'm like, personally, me, I have moments of deja vu, but for me, like, it's just being able, like I said, I don't know if it's a trauma thing or I can actually just sense people. Like, I can tell the way that people feel.
I get a lot of my deja vus in my dreams, kind of like a vision.
Yeah,
all the time.
And like, at first it was like super freaky, and I'm like, maybe I am psychic, but I'm like, no,
I'm definitely psychic.
It's really just tapping into your shit.
I'm psychic.
It's really tapping into your shit and unblocking yourself.
I called my best friend who's now engaged. The day that her now fiance proposed, I called and we were on the phone talking. And then she was like, at the very end, and I was like, hey, yo, well, her grandfather was sick, and he has passed since, but I was like, hey, yo, Rye, you need to propose, because no grandpa got to be there for the wedding, and that night he proposed. And then he told Leo, I was like, I can't believe Emily said that. And I was like, yo, I fucking told her, like, I'm fucking psych. I call so much stuff. I honestly do. Even with like whenever I play FanDuel, I know a player. I'm like, this player's gonna go off, and I don't play them, and I don't know why I don't stick to my.
I know. I always in my gut for that.
And that like it was last week, and I haven't played since this week. All the players that were in the top 10, I called like 6 of them, and I only played like 3 of them. And I was like, I said to myself, I should play Carmelo Anthony tonight. He's gonna go the fuck off. I have a feeling he's gonna go off. He went off for 53 points, and I was like, yo! I knew it. I was so mad.
Jessica was using me to put bets on the last couple football games, and she's like, who do you think is going to win? And I would tell her, and they would win. And then she's like, do you know by how many? I'm like, no, bitch.
That's the worst. That's why you can't do this type of bets.
No, I don't. But like in my gut, like they're going to lose. They're going to win. And then I knew that fucking whatever fucking team Tom Brady was on was going to win, but I didn't want it to happen, so I didn't want to say it out loud and put it out into the universe.
Everyone knew that was going to happen. Everyone was putting it out to the universe. We all wanted Patty, but Tom Brady was going to come in and take it.
Because he cheated.
He didn't actually cheat for once.
I don't care. He's a cheater. He's always going to be a cheater to me.
Actually, the refs cheated for him, so yeah.
I don't care.
Like always.
All right, but yes. So, to bring this back.
Tom Brady got reincarnated. Tom Brady.
Like, what do you think happens when we die?
Nothing. Honestly,
I think about that all the time.
If you watch the show The OA, I'm gonna.
This
shameless
plug. No, but not even sponsored.
No, but just because maybe 6 months ago, that's all you would talk about was this show. So now hearing it back again is just like, oh, don't you know?
The show is there is so much that the show talks about and discusses, and I'm like, oh my god, I love this. But
how many seasons do they have?
It's only 2 seasons, and it's very short, 6 episodes maybe.
I hate the way that they do seasons.
It's really good. Like the way that they show life and death, death, it's kind of an in-between world. And there was
Soul.
She kind of looked like some kind of old Jewish lady, to be quite honest, like a bubby. That's what she looked like.
Bubby.
But she was this woman from I forgot who she was, but in the afterlife, and it was the in-between where their souls would be until they had planned to meet again in the next life or whatever. Do you think I don't know, because I feel that's problematic to say that we pick the lives that we end up in.
Yeah, there's no way.
I don't think we pick our life or our journey or shit like that. How are we supposed to?
If I would pick my life, I would be rich.
But it could be that our souls, our energy, it doesn't exist within a human. This is also a human perspective, a human experience that we're living. So that could what if our energy manifests differently? And like I said, our whole purpose is just to experience as many different experiences. Not to fuck with the banana roll, but experience as many different experiences as possible.
What the fuck is a banana roll?
You can't define a word using the word.
Why is it called a banana roll?
I don't fucking know. That's just
why
what my teacher
is
said.
Toilet paper called toilet paper? Someone made it up. I think because bananas honestly have something inside of them, and
that makes sense.
Yeah, I remember my teacher saying that. Now
I've never heard of that. I'm gonna have to look it up because now it's gonna bother me.
Remember we talked about it 2 weeks ago.
I know, but I still didn't understand it, and I didn't want to sound stupid, but it came up again, so I'm asking.
I'm not gonna get into that right now, but
so you guys
always ask questions.
Wait, so you think nothing happens when you die? What happens when you what happens in between?
I mean, I honestly seeing Soul, and I'm gonna relate to movies because that's the only thing I think I really have a perception, to create a perception, where it's really just your soul, and you can either go on and go to the great beyond and just live out there forever, or you can help other souls train, get ready to experience human life. That would be pretty dope. It's little baby souls that they raise up and want to get enough human human experiences before.
So you think you'll only be reincarnated as a human?
I do believe that. Else? Unless you can stay. I don't believe that. I think your karma will reincarnate you into either someone who is bad, so that bad things happen to you.
But that goes back to the good bad concept, a moral compass is dictating
what's
your
good and
life.
bad.
Yeah, I feel that's more of a social idea to get you to behave, quote unquote, within societal expectations.
Well, I mean, no matter what, we know you shouldn't harm other people. You know you shouldn't rob or steal from people. Corporations now, do you, boo boo? I don't care. But I don't think you should ever want to harm another person in any type of way. And that makes you, I believe, a good person. Obviously you're gonna have mess ups. I think you're going to talk shit about someone. You might be two-faced on first with someone. You might lie to someone. I think those are just things that as humans you do, because
I don't think that is a bad enough reason for you to be reincarnated into something bad. Everybody does that, but if you purposely go out and murder and rape and like do shit like that, like you're going to come back and your life is going to be shit.
Well, do you guys believe in ghosts, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how do you think ghosts come to exist?
I think that they have unfinished business. I don't know, because the ghost that lives in my house like really be bothering me, especially when I'm sleeping.
Well, so I had a medium come to my house once back in college, and the way she explained it is like everyone has.
Ghost was in your basement.
Yeah, everyone has spirits that follow them, and then some spirits are like tied to certain locations for various reasons, and then like the different spirits have different energies, like positive or angry, or whatever. And like what I was reading, not reading, but from like watching, it's a fictional show, but from watching like Supernatural, they have, there are different types of spirits. You have like your vengeful, like the poltergeist type spirits, and then you just have the harmless ones, or the ones that seem to be stuck in a loop or whatever. Like when I was a kid, we had these toys in the hallway, and we had just moved to the house, and my parents kept hearing like kids laughing in the hallway, so they thought it was me and my sister. And every time they opened the door to be like, go to bed, no one would be there. There won't be anyone there. And the toys, I would sit them up in the hallway, like sitting straight up. And every morning we came out, they would be like this. They could be a couple inches from the wall. They weren't sitting straight up. It was like they had been moved. Yeah.
So those things are amazing.
When I first moved into this house, I heard footsteps going down the stairs. And then a couple nights later, I heard footsteps coming up the steps and going like back towards like around here. I don't fucking know. And there was another night where I heard a knock on like the back door, and like the dogs went crazy. But what's been happening lately is while I'm sleeping, like I can feel it on me. And like I'm literally like fighting it. And it isn't like I'm fighting for my life. I'm fighting because you're on me and I'm trying to sleep, and now I'm annoyed. Like, bother me when I'm awake, not when I'm sleeping. Like, don't do that.
How does
I don't
it feel
like
it's shit on you?
Like, I'm going to have to show you because
like, I was going to say, it could be sleep paralysis. Is it like sleep paralysis at all? Because I've had that happen before me. It looked like a fucking demon on my chest. And I was like trying to scream, but I couldn't. It was one of the times I hallucinated.
No, I'm completely sober when these things happen.
Oh no, I was completely sober too. It's sleep paralysis is you wake up and your brain's hasn't fully caught up, and that's why you have a tendency. You could hear things. You can feel like something's crushing you.
No, I can move.
Seeing something above you.
I can move. I can feel it. I can feel it on me. But I don't know. Like, it bothers me in my sleep, and I have to tell it to leave me the fuck alone.
So
like,
you can talk to it and everything.
Yeah.
Oh, then sleep paralysis. You can't talk. You can't move. Like, you're literally stuck, and you can't do anything to get out of it.
It's absolutely fucking terrible.
And like, you want to scream. You want to be like, say in it. I've never had it, but I know a lot of people who have.
I'll sit there. One time I woke up and I was like I couldn't do anything else, but I was just making that noise, and I was trying my hardest to scream. And so when I finally could move, my throat hurt like I had been screaming or crying, even though no sound actually came out.
No, so but according to Jessica's aunt, she practices something, I don't know what she does. She was like, that's what you have to do to them. Like, you have to tell them to leave you alone. And Jessica was like, oh, hell no, I'm not doing that shit.
Why don't you salt the windows and salt the doors?
I've only seen that in movies. You think it really works?
Yeah, something about them not being able to get past.
I mean, this is their house.
I'm a very superstitious person.
This is their house. This is not my house. This house belongs to you. But just like, let me be.
People are stuck here. You can help them move on.
In Lovecraft Country, that's what they do. There's these evil spirits that are stuck, and then to get them out, they had to do this type of spell.
I don't think that the spirit in this house is evil.
Because I don't on top of you.
I don't feel like threatened or anything like that. I feel like you just want me to wake up, and I don't want to wake up, so leave me alone.
I mean, he should not be on top of you because that's disgusting. That's rape.
I'm getting raped by a ghost.
Yeah, I mean, scary movie.
That's what I was going to say. Scary movie.
She was not raped.
No.
She wanted it, and then she was obsessed with that man. I love scary movie. And I was just watching.
No, but this is the ghost house. This is not my house. Like, I get it. Like, I am invading your space, but like, I am here renting the space. Like, let me be, and I will let you be. Like, that's it.
It's like, it's crazy that you ask, you know, what do you think ghosts are? Because I believe in everything. Like, I believe that when you die, you close your eyes, and that's the end of it. I believe that sometimes your soul, that you can be reincarnated. I believe anything is
all
possible.
All of this is an explanation of the human experience. That's all any of this is. That's why when you still have questions, I'm like, it might be beyond the realm of our comprehension. Like, the reason why we don't have those answers, we know that something's out there. There's a question we want to ask. We might not know how to word it, what it exactly is. It's just because we can't form the concept itself in our heads.
And I completely agree with you. But, you know, especially when I'm drunk, I have these conversations with myself and Jessica. And Jessica's like looking at me like, what the fuck do you think about? And I think about all that shit.
Yeah. I think about, that's what sometimes makes me upset. Because I'm like, why do I think these weird things? But
like, also, like, why don't I remember being born?
I was just talking about this with my friend this past weekend. Like, it sucks. I don't remember a lot of my childhood. I really don't. And, like, my real, like, earliest, like, full-blown, like, memory, like, I have little specks of kindergarten up to 3rd grade. That's like, I see things, but really, 4th grade, maybe 5th grade, honestly, maybe really like 9th grade and up, I remember vividly, but I don't remember vividly up and like from there to 8th grade. And I think because I really hated those years of just my life, I could be probably that's why, but it's crazy to me. I don't remember these things, and I want to.
My first memories are from when I was like a baby, and then
like,
I
don't have like any memories of that.
Like not long after I was born, probably.
See,
like,
I
told you, I remember. I was able to describe my baby pictures before I saw them. I remember like being weighed and measured, and looking up, and then seeing my father and this other lady. Who eventually down the line when I saw my sewing teacher, I'm like, you look like the nurse who was weighing and measuring me when I was a baby. Like that's like she looks so much like that lady.
No.
But yeah, I have a lot of memories, and then around 4, that's when my memory starts getting a little hazy, and then my memories get good again after that. But for a few months at 4 years old, I could not remember shit. I couldn't even remember my age.
I think the age that I can remember remembering things, like I want to say like I was 5. Is when
we all develop at different speeds as well, though. We develop at different speeds, and then we also experience trauma, and trauma plays a huge part in your memory formation. Like people can block out years.
I honestly believe that's what mine is. I feel like things have happened to me that I really just block out a lot of it because
Yeah, and it's weird that you say like 9th grade, like that's when you can remember things vividly. I remember every single elementary school that I've been to.
I mean, I remember my elementary school. I remember my teachers. Like, I just don't remember moments.
Yeah, I don't remember a lot of big moments.
I remember random moments, like moments of me being on the bus when I lived in Hazleton in 2nd grade when I went to Heights Terrace. Like, I remember swimming. I remember swimming class. Like, I remember, like, weird things like that. I remember one time I bit my brother's head because he made me mad.
There's only one vivid memory that I really have from elementary school, and that was when I was having a sleepover at one of my friend's house, maybe 2nd grade, a guy friend of mine. And it was raining, and we were in his basement where he was just knocked out of sleep. And I remember being just terrified and scared, and I wanted to go home. And I feel like something happened to me, but I don't remember what happened to me that made me feel terrified and scared. And I always think about that moment. And I remember my mom came and picked me up. I went upstairs, knocked on his parents' doors, and I was like, I want to go home. And I remember going home. And like that's just a vivid thing in my head. My mom was like, why did I go home? And I know. It's so hard. Like, there's so much.
Memories are weird.
I was gonna say memories are interesting because like I had a reoccurring dream from like the age of probably 3 or 4 until I was like 8 or probably like 9 or 10, and it wasn't that often at first, and then when I got to be like 8, that's when I had it a little bit more often. But it was like I was in the same place. It was in a forest. And then the next thing I knew, I was in a cave, and I was like at the mouth of the cave, and there was a little stream of water through it. Yeah. And then there were these crystals in the water. And I remember like running my hand and playing in the water, and that's literally the whole dream. That's all I did. But I had that dream repeatedly over the years. So like I remember exactly how the dream goes at this point. I haven't had the dream in years, but like I remember that shit clear as yesterday.
Jessica would have this reoccurring dream when we lived in the 2-bedroom apartment in Silver Spring, where somebody was at the foot of the bed. That's and like creepy. It was like a ghost or something like that. And we later found out that someone was shot and killed on the floor that we lived on, and she was convinced that it was our apartment.
I mean, I can understand.
And like it was just, she never had that dream until we moved into that apartment, and then she didn't have that dream after we left.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. You know, there are ghosts that follow us and ghosts that stay.
Oh man, I mean that's what if like oh god,
like everything like
I want to play this show for you when we finish this.
Everything that
I low-key want to be a ghost, like when I die. Like I want to be a ghost and like not necessarily haunt.
I want to fuck with people.
I think that's what I want to do. I think I just want to like move things around,
like touch your ear and be like.
But if you think like, do ghosts exist in the same dimension as we do, or do they exist in another one?
And they just
and that's the reason why we can't really see them.
I think it's an overlapping dimension.
For the most part. Well, I think dimensions, period, overlap one another. I feel like they all exist at the same time in the same place. It's just that, like I said, different frequencies, different wavelengths, and that's how you get like the ghost shit. Like there's this, what's her name? Something Shapiro, and I don't know how true this is, but it's happened in Baltimore. It was a woman who she took these like Polaroids of herself, and they do look a little bit creepy. Like she's very bony and scant looking, and she set up like all of these instruments around her, and they were like, I don't know, it tapped into frequencies or something like that. She surrounded herself in a circle with those instruments and then turned them all on and cranked them up, and then they found her dead. And I'm like, they were like, based on her journal and what she had written, they think that she like tapped into possibly like hell or something like that, like something demonic or evil, or she could have just been off her rocker because her family also like kept it like really covered up. They didn't want the information out there. So, but the guy who like, you know, shared the story, he's from some like ghost chaser show or something like that, and he has a haunted museum, and that's part of the exhibit, like the things from that exhibit, because they redid the experiment that she did, but with two guys at two separate locations, and they did tap into something. They were picking up something in the frequencies, but they didn't die the first time like she did. But I'm like, how long did she expose herself to that? Did the frequencies fuck something up? No, they're perfectly fine. I'm like, but their experiment, like, how long did it last? Like, did she expose herself for too long to those frequencies, or did something get through and kill her? Like, there's a whole bunch of different answers there, because it's like very dangerous, I feel like, to tap into other dimensions.
100%, which is also why like I would never allow anyone to walk into my house with the Ouija board.
Yeah, that's why I said that earlier, just because I knew you're gonna freak out.
I don't care, like whether it may be true or not. Like I do not care, dude.
I think that's a way to access other dimensions.
Yeah, no, I don't want to do that.
And that's like the ghostly or the spiritual. That's like a spiritual dimension.
Because I'm gonna be fucked up if like I tap into like something evil and it kills me, and then everybody's like, oh, what happened? And then see a Ouija board and they're like, this dumb bitch. And I would be mad at myself.
I want a Jumanji board. That'd be cool.
I'm telling you, when I got the Jumanji game when I was a kid and I opened it, I was so disappointed. It didn't look, it was like a cheap version of the movie one. I was like,
expectations are too high.
I was like, I forgot how old was I? It was when fucking Toy Story came out.
I didn't even know that they made like a Jumanji game like that.
1995.
Yeah, I was so disappointed. Woo! I think that was really, wow. That was insightful. I learned a lot from that episode, just from you. You always teach me things. Thanks.
Cyan is a teacher.
Stay tuned. I just like to read. Like, I'm obsessed. Like, for me, it's all about facts and knowledge. And, you know, reading everything. Even the shit that I don't believe, just to see what, what's there. Yeah. Like, honestly, everything is, at the end of the day, it's an explanation of the human experience for yourself.
hearing other people's viewpoints about what they think life, I find it all interesting.
Everyone gets, I feel like a lot of people get angry when, like, you know, people don't share the same viewpoint or whatever, or they, like I said, with religion, they get carried away with it. Even spirituality, they get carried away with it.
I think the problem is that people try to get you to believe what they believe instead of just trying to get you to understand. Even if you don't understand, like, you have entirely too much emotions when you're explaining something.
Yeah, that's my issue. Like, with everything lately, it's the rhetoric. I'm just listening to the way people are, just the way people are saying, not what they're even talking about, just the way they're saying it. And I'm like, for months I saw on Instagram them saying, like, you know, there's going to be a spiritual war, blah, blah, blah. They're trying to attack you. I'm like, that creates this mindset that you have to be wary of something, that you have to be afraid of something, that someone's going to try and do something to you. So like I said, that sort of thinking, that sort of energy brings down your own personal energy, fucks up your intuition. And that's how people believe the fuck shit that they believe, because they don't use discernment to be like, this doesn't make any sense, or this is obviously biased, or this, you know, like, this is just someone else's truth, and you don't have to get angry about it. Like, that's all it is. That's someone else's truth.
And I agree with you, and I just don't understand how people get just so bent out of shape over.
I think it's a holier than thou type mindset. Like, people, when they think they found the way, they think they're better than other people.
I agree. Y'all ain't better than nobody.
For real. Person. At the end of the day, like they said in DBT, we are all humans doing the best that we can. For the most part, we are all humans doing the best that we can.
That's that therapy thing that you're doing.
But like, seriously, DBT.
No, like
dialectical behavioral therapy.
I feel like I'm going to ask you every single time because I can't
just type in
remember.
DBT. Those
I know, but you're right here, so you can just tell me.
Honestly, though, that's like the easiest concept to live by.
Yeah.
What, minding your own business?
No. Well, I mean, that I always mind my own business.
Everyone's doing the best they can.
Yeah, everyone's doing the best they can. Like, that's why you don't interpret certain things the way that you do. It's very easy to interpret things on a personal level than actually seeing it as someone else's experience. For me, I will be completely frank with you. It's very hard for me off brick to put myself in someone else's shoes. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that's something that, like, a lot of people struggle with. Like, for whatever reason, we don't think about what other people are experiencing, what they have experienced, to lead them to live the life they do or whatever. But anyway.
Thanks for watching and thanks for listening. Thank you so much.
Come back next week to see what the hell we talk about then.
Our little random shit. I'm gonna take a nap now.
I'm not tired anymore. This sucks.
I'm so tired.